Alright, it says to factor this trinomial, w squared plus 5wy plus 6y squared. Alright, we always look for a greatest common factor first and take care of that if there is one. But there's not a GCF, there's not a greatest common factor to these three terms. And the next thing we want to do is make sure that the trinomial is in descending order of one of the variables. Well, I've got two variables here. I've got a w and I've got a y. So we have to figure out which one of the variables we want to write in descending order. Well, it starts with w squared. So we can write this one in descending order of w, because we've got w squared as the first term. The second term has w to the first power. The last term doesn't have any w's at all. So it's currently in descending order of w. Right, we then proceed to factor it by putting our binomial times our binomial, because we know that the product of these two binomials will give us a trinomial, or so we hope to find what the two binomials are. And we start with the first term, which is w squared. We know that this term times this term, the first term of each, will give us w squared. So it has to be w times w. Then we look at the last term, but in particular we look at the sign of the last term. In fact, if you look at both of these signs, they're both positive. When both signs of the trinomial are positive, we know that the two factors here will both have positives. So we don't have to worry about the signs for this one. Now this has a y squared. This term times this term has to be 6y squared. Well, we know one's going to be y and the other one's going to be y, or at least include a y, because y times y will give us 6y squared, or give us y squared. Now, what two numbers? We look at the number 6 and the number 5. What two numbers multiply together to give us 6, but add together to give us 5? Well, 3 times 2, of course, will give us the 6, and the 3 plus the 2 will give us the 5. So this is the correct factorization. And again, to check this one, since there's two variables and maybe a little more confusing, we can check it by using the FOIL method. W times w is w squared. W times 2y is 2wy. And then we take 3y times w, which we write as 3wy. And then we take 3y times 2y, which is 6y squared. Then when we add these two terms in the middle, we're going to see w squared plus 5wy plus 6y squared, which is what we started with. So that confirms that that is the correct factorization.